Good morning and welcome to the post-election hearing of the Campaign's Finance Board. I am Rick Schaefer, Chair of the Campaign Finance Board. During this hearing, we are looking forward to hearing about your experiences during the 2025 New York City elections, engaging with a few of our city's tools for democracy, including casting a ballot and engaging with our matching funds program, whether by running for office as a program participant or by making a contribution. To receive your testimony, we have a panel of members from the Campaign Finance Board and the Voter Assistance Advisory Committee, also known as the VAC. Speakers, including candidates for city office, members of advocacy organizations, and the general public, will give their testimony in person at the CFB office in Manhattan and remotely over Zoom. If you did not register to give spoken testimony at this hearing, you will not be able to speak today, but you are still encouraged to submit written testimony to the CFB through the official testimony form. To be inclusive of those on Zoom and to be mindful of everyone's time, we are going to alternate between two speakers in person, then two speakers over Zoom. We will continue to alternate with that pattern until everyone who is registered to give testimony has had a chance to speak. Each speaker, in person or on Zoom, will have 2 minutes to share their testimony with the panel. There's a clock in front, and so those of you who are speaking will be able to see the clock. And when the time is up, please end your remarks and sit down. If you don't, I will encourage you to do so. If you are on Zoom and registered to testify today, please raise your virtual hand to indicate your intention to speak. When it is your turn to share, you will be promoted to panelist. Please accept that notice on your Zoom screen and turn on your camera before you begin. Your name will be called when it is your turn to speak. We will begin with the first speaker in person. Please step up to the front of the room and share your name and affiliation before you begin your testimony. So the first person on our list this morning is Sean Felder. Mr. Felder here? No. Next person on our list this morning is Chris Lord. Is Mr. Lord here?
I think he might have just gone to the restroom.
All right, I'll come back to Mr. Lord when he comes back into the room. So now we're going to shift to two remote speakers. The first remote speaker listed is Francie Scanlon. Not hearing or seeing any indication that Ms. Scanlon is here. Next person scheduled to speak remotely is Ben Weinberg. Is Mr. Weinberg present?
I am present. Wait,
I
sorry.
believe so.
Here we go. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Weinberg.
Thank you very much. Good morning, board members. My name is Ben Weinberg, and I'm the director of... Yes? Can you hear me?
What's that?
You may just need to turn the volume up a little bit.
Yeah, can we turn the volume up a little bit, or Mr. Weinberg, you could speak a little bit more loudly, perhaps.
Sure. Yes.
Start again.
Thank you very much. Good morning, board members. My name is Ben Weinberg, and I'm the director of public policy at Citizens Union. The 2025 election cycle clearly demonstrated the strength of New York City public campaign finance system in an election cycle saturated with record.
Could you increase the volume some more, or is it on our end?
Yeah, so we need to about double or triple that volume. So let's just pause and do a test on the audio.
Well, maybe Mr. Weinberg can just get a little closer to.
Well, I think we need to fix the.
Let's make sure we get this right.
It's at max, apparently.
But I don't. Yep.
Mr. Weinberg, perhaps you can get much closer to your microphone and speak at top volume.
Sure. I'll try to shout to the microphone. All right. Good morning, board members. My name is Ben Weinberg, and I'm the Director of Public Policy at Citizens Union. Does that work?
Yeah, it's better.
Better. The 2025 election cycle clearly demonstrated the strength of the New York City public campaign finance system. In an election cycle saturated with record-breaking IE money, the campaign finance system performed exactly as intended. It leveled the playing field for candidates, it connected them with everyday New Yorkers, it increased transparency around the funder of attack ads, and safeguarded our democratic process. It was also done thanks to the board's work in a challenging election year, and we commend you for your efforts in ensuring compliance with the law and your investigations into potential violations. Our written testimony has more information on that, but like every cycle, the system should improve and evolve to continue making it the model program that it is. So here are our recommendations for this cycle. First, close the loophole that allows top IE donors to hide from paid-for-by disclosures using pass-through entities. We saw one PAC this way that used $8.6 million this way. Nesting donors is a problem that has solutions, so we encourage the board to prevent this loophole from being exploited further. Second, support legislation closing bundling loopholes in disclosures and lobbyist donation limits. The board is aware of those bills, so I'll skip to my next recommendation, and that is ensure candidates cannot avoid blackout period restrictions by using city council letterhead. It's probable that public servants circumvented the blackout period rule this cycle by sending mailers from council letterhead instead of their own around the ballot initiative campaign. If unchecked, more candidates will use government resources for electioneering mass mailers during the blackout period by hiding behind another government entity's branding. The CFB should take steps to prevent this practice from expanding, either by investigating whether violations occurred in 2025 or issuing rules, guidance, or advisory opinions that bar candidates from improperly hiding behind council or other governmental letterheads. And lastly, this is on the voter analysis report. I would like to ask the board to analyze voter participation by unaffiliated voters in the 2025 election cycle. You've started doing that with this report, but given the heightened interest in this topic during the Charter Revision Commission hearings, more data-driven analysis of independent voters, and especially their behavior during the 2025 cycle would meaningfully contribute to the public debate. And that's all right.
Thank you very much.
This is for the system for the whole hearing. We have a problem.
Yeah, I can't hear a thing. So I thought that was extremely valuable. I didn't hear a word of it. So from a hardware standpoint, can we get different speakers in here and have them pointed directly this way? Larger speakers much closer to the stand. That seemed like very valuable testimony. I'd like a copy of the oral testimony that Mr. Weinberg gave. I know Mr. Davis would also like that. Because that sounded valuable. We can't hear it. So,
But
We're working on it.
can I make a suggestion? Why don't we proceed with in-person speakers while they deal with the tech
Right.
issue for remote
Right.
speakers?
It may also be that Mr. Weinberg's mic is weaker and the next Zoom speaker will.
It may,
Yeah.
but, and Mr. Weinberg, just so you don't think anybody heard you, I heard you. And I took notes. It was faint. So it's not that, it was totally for naught. But we are working on the audio so that everyone can fully hear, all our remote speakers. But I think we can proceed with the speakers that we have in person, while they figure out the tech and increase the volume. I think.
They just made an adjustment.
This is Chris. How is my sound? This is a member of the VAC committee.
Yeah, you're very
much
good.
better.
Much better.
Much better.
Then it's clearly, it might be Mr. Weinberg's computer. Since I'm.
Okay, great.
Thank you for that help.
Maybe we'll have Ben say one more thing.
While we're talking on tech issues, I noticed the clock never really started. By my estimates, Mr. Weinberg was well under the 2 minutes, so it wasn't a problem, but we do need to start the clock when the next speaker begins.
The Zoom speakers have a different clock.
There's a Zoom clock for remote speakers.
I see.
This is for.
Oh, I see. Oh, got it. Thank you. All right. Are we We
We're
don't.
also, by the way, recording this, so anyone who missed the remote can see the recording after.
We fixed it. They made some adjustments.
Okay, perfect.
And to say a few
Yeah.
words.
Ben, did you want, we've made some adjustments here. Is there anything you wanted to add at the end?
I will just add that we submitted our written testimony, and it's longer than what I said, so you'll have a chance to review our full written testimony.
Thank you. And you came across much better at that point. Okay.
Great.
Problem solved. Thank you very much, tech
Thank you.
people. Okay, we're going to go back to in person, and he was out of the room now, so I will circle back to Mr. Chris Lord as our next speaker. Is Mr. Lord back in the room? Thought he was. No? Okay, then we'll move on.
I think he is.
Is Mr. Lord here?
No? Okay.
Okay. The next speaker scheduled for in person is Carlos Sanchez. Is Mr. Sanchez here? No. Okay. Next person signed up is Victoria Perone. Is Miss Perone here?
Yes.
Please come on up to the podium. Start whenever you're ready.
Right. All right. Thank you to the CFB for this opportunity to give feedback. My name is Victoria Perone, and I served as Mayor-elect Zoran Mandani's campaign treasurer for the last 14 months. We appreciate your staff's work and responsiveness, especially when we continue to crash C-Smart on a weekly basis. We are here to share our belief that there are many ways to make complying with CFB regulations and reporting requirements easier for volunteer treasurers and first-time candidates. In my opinion, an equitable campaign isn't just quantified in dollars and cents. It's also about ensuring people without prior campaign experience and networks to have a fair chance at running for office. My company, Spruce Street Compliance, is one of few national firms who provide treasury services to federal Democratic campaigns, and only one of two national firms who actually worked with a mayoral candidate this cycle. My colleagues around the country avoid New York City's public funding program because of its complexity and high risk of penalties, and I understand why. My first experience filing was in 2021, and while that helped me prepare for this cycle, I didn't feel my staff were thoroughly trained. Even after the CFB trainings, I conducted my own internal trainings for my staff so that they could understand how contribution cards would be reviewed throughout the campaign to qualify for matching funds and proactively explain how the expense documentation would be analyzed during the post-election audit to avoid penalties. Tasks such as completing large amounts of manual data entry, tracked approved matching funds, needing to track spending cap limits independently of C-Smart, and turning around reports in 4 days remains extremely difficult even for professionals like myself. My staff often noted how impossible this would be for a volunteer treasurer or a first-time candidate to navigate this system without support from a professional firm, but only having access to afford one only after they receive public funds in the first place. Expecting non-campaign finance professionals to comply with this system, I believe, is unrealistic and inequitable. Over the next 4 years, we look forward to working with the CFB and giving informed recommendations based on my work in other compliance softwares and in other jurisdictions like the Federal Election Commission. Our immediate recommendations include excluding more administrative expenses from the spending cap, especially those related to candidate and staff safety, ensuring greater fairness around spending cap limits in relation to independent spenders, expanding data entry capabilities to simplify financial reconciliations, spending cap tracking, contribution batching to match bank deposits, and source coding capabilities, and lastly, overhauling contribution and expense bulk importing tools. Thank you again for inviting feedback today. My firm looks forward to working with you all so that we can ensure that participation in these elections is equitable. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're now back to the remote speakers. The next listed remote speaker is Miroslava Svayak. I think I got that right. Is Mr. Svayak on? Not hearing any indication. So next remote, that's the, yeah. Next remote speaker listed is Tom Speaker. Is Mr. Speaker present?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Good morning to the members and staff of the Campaign Finance Board. My name is Tom Speaker, and I am the Legislative Director for reInvent Albany. reInvent Albany is a government watchdog organization that advocates for open and accountable government. First and foremost, we commend your integrity and commitment. You repeatedly upheld the rule of law and despite immense pressure, and withheld matching funds from candidates who repeatedly violated campaign finance disclosure rules and allegedly coordinated independent expenditures. Because of your professionalism and courage battling unlawful behavior, and because a candidate who depended on small donors and public matching funds was able to get their message out despite being massively outspent by IEs, we believe this election cycle was an extraordinary success for the New York City Campaign Finance Board, its staff, and the city's campaign finance laws. That said, we continue to believe that IEs are by far the greatest threat to New York City's democracy and the basic notion of one person, one vote. According to the CFB campaign finance summary, IEs spent $82 million this election cycle supporting or opposing candidates, which is double the previous cycle. Because of the Supreme Court's disastrous Citizens United decision, there is nothing the city or state can do to limit IE expenditures, and every reason to think that in the next mayoral cycle, IE spending will increase to 160 million or even 500 million. So just really quick, we have 4 recommendations, which I'll summarize here. We first recommend that the CFB significantly increase the maximum penalty that they can impose for violations of IE laws and regulations. We ask that you move IE disclosure triggers up so that contributions must be disclosed when a committee spends on an ad rather than when the public sees the ad. The third recommendation is that you require IE committees to disclose contributors who gave less than the current 25,000 threshold in the period 12 months before an election. And fourth, that you require disclosure of contributors of 1,000 or more to entities giving to the major contributors of independent expenditures, which would address the so-called dark money nesting doll problem. We recognize that many, if not most of these need to be addressed in the law, but we hope that the CFB will work together with the City Council and the Mayor to push these changes forward. So thank you for allowing me to testify, and we really appreciate the work that you do.
Thank you very much. I assume you'll make those views known to the City Council as well. Very good. We're back to in person. The next person listed is Michael Ring. Is Mr. Ring here? Yeah. Good. Please take the podium.
Hi. Before I begin, I'd like to give a verbal description of my appearance. I'm not assuming everyone could see me. I'm a 62-year-old white guy who needs a shave and my hair's a mess. I have a red pin that says fair pay for healthcare workers. I'm on my way to the governor's office to yell over there. I am Vice President of Disabled in Action of Greater New York. I'm on the Voting Advocacy Committee of Downstate ADAPT. I'm also an election day worker. I've been a poll worker for about 7 years. I work early voting. I'm the coordinator at my local voting site. And it's taken me this long to figure out the difference between the Board of Elections and the Campaign Finance Board, and I'm still not really sure. But what I figured out is that you guys are in charge of sending information to voters, not the Board of Elections. The Board of Elections is in charge of hardware and voting stuff. The ballot marking device is a really great machine that's in every poll site. But as a poll worker, we're trained on how to turn it on and turn it off, and a little bit of how it works, but not really what it does and why someone would want to use it. I only know how to use it because I have a mobility disability and my hands don't really work. I can't hold a pen very well. I vote on the ballot marking device. I know how it works. I know what it does. Voters don't know this. I'm just urging you guys in your mailings, when you send mail out to voters, to promote this device. Just have a picture of it, a description on why someone would use it, what it does. It's about to be upgraded. It's the oldest piece of hardware in a polling place. In the next couple of years, there's going to be a new one. The timing would be just right to share this with the millions of people you send mail to, because people walk into the polling places and would benefit greatly of already knowing what that machine is. And they don't. Some people use it and they don't know how to use it. They don't know what it does, but it translates, it reads to you, it makes things bigger. You can vote without holding a pen. It's a touch screen. And you have an opportunity with the billions of millions of letters you send out, the billions of pounds of mail that get landed on us, to send something, people could find out about this, and you're the guys that can do it, and more people will be able to vote.
Thank you very much. The next in-person speaker on the schedule is Martin Dolan. Is Mr. Dolan here? If not, we go back to the remote speakers. The next remote speaker listed is Dana York. Is Ms. York present? Getting indications that she is, so I'll just pause for a moment and give her a chance to get online.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know if you can see me. You can see me now.
We hear you clearly, but we don't see you.
Yes, I am there now.
Yes.
So I want to say what a privilege to be a candidate, and what a wonderful learning experience that was. I lost for the elections for the mayor of New York. I congratulate the winning candidate for their very, very beautiful campaign. I also congratulate the Board of Election and the liaison, Nadia Samar, for a crystal clear, smooth election and all the support, training, and learning we had. I learned so much. At last, I have a message for future. I encourage for everybody to put aside any disagreement and try to work together for the greater good. My heart goes to our beautiful Jewish community of New York, with the hope that we will show respect and love and care for all faiths and religions, because that it is what needs to be done. A New York with interfaith, reassure for everybody. God bless America, and God bless our beautiful community of New Yorkers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next scheduled speaker, also remote, is Betsaida Echevarria. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. No, doesn't appear to be present. Okay, reverting now again to in-person speakers. The next speaker is Gwen Renee Schalk. Is Schalk here? Not. The next listed speaker is Vincent Jenkins. Is Mr. Jenkins here? Yes, I think Mr. Jenkins is here, and he's taking the podium. And we're going to have some simultaneous. Yeah, I think we're all ready.
So may I ask, is the ALS interpreter prepared to speak, translate what's being said?
The ASL interpreter, yes. I'm not able to see Mr. Jenkins from here. He's way too far from the camera.
Maybe come over here. Cameras.
Okay.
I'll show him where the camera is.
Yeah, right.
Amy.
Maybe turn on the
have
camera.
Mr. Jenkins look just like right in front of the camera. I'm still not able to see him. He's still too far for me.
Can you pin that?
Just give the interpreter one moment. Okay, we may proceed. Hello. Good morning to everyone in New York City. Good morning, Manhattan. I reside in Manhattan. I'm a voter in Manhattan. My name is Mr. Vincent Jenkins. I did not receive enough signatures for a board nomination for Manhattan as a board president of City Council because I did not have enough funding for our canvassers. So we did not receive enough funding. It's very expensive to host that in these buildings, but I would be planning to run again. It's very serious to be running, no joke. I want to make it right the next time I run. Many people don't know my name yet because I am deaf, but I want to announce that I will be running again for New York City in Manhattan as the board president again. I will be collecting support for my work. I'd like to say congratulations to Brad. One second for the interpreter. Hoylman Signal. That part of the interpreter's pronunciation, but he became board president. I want to congratulate him, and I believe I work for him. I just want to be here to advocate for BIPOC and disabled individuals. We live in a very minority, small world. I'm the first Black deaf borough president candidate here in New York. Again, I will be running a campaign in 2028. And I'll be needing a treasurer and other people on my team. Thank you very much. Have a great day. God bless.
Thank you. The next scheduled speaker, this is remote, is Grace Marrero.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
Hold on. You ready? You ready for me?
We're ready.
Okay, hold on. I'm not ready. Wait a minute. My computer. God bless it. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, here we go. I'm starting. Excuse me. Good morning and thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Grace Marrero and I was the conservative and Republican candidate for Bronx Borough President. New Yorkers deserve far better than the broken election system they are being forced to tolerate. The failures of the New York City Board of Elections and the Campaign Finance Board are no longer just an administrative issues. They are structural, systemic, and corrosive to public trust. The BOE's dysfunction is not an accident. It is baked into the structure created by New York State election law, which mandates a partisan, patriotic-driven system where hiring is dictated by political committees rather than professional standards. This is a model from 1894 operating in 2025, and what we see are repeated miscounts and reporting errors. Post-site chaos, including late openings and untrained workers, ballot design failures that confuse voters and disproportionately impact non-English speaking and elderly communities, lack of transparency and operational decisions that directly affect turnout, no meaningful accountability mechanism for mistakes that disenfranchise voters. If any other city agency demonstrated this level of persistent dysfunction, the leadership would be replaced, the structure overhauled, and the public would demand it. But with the BOE, political protection has insulated incompetence for decades. New Yorkers deserve professional election administration, not a political club running a public-facing institution. BOE reform demands replace the current partisan board structure with a professional, nonpartisan model, establish statutory hiring standards, merit-based, civil service-oriented, insulated from county party control, very important. Mandatory operational transparency, including public reporting and of error rates, staffing levels, and performance audits. Create an independent oversight body with a disciplinary authority for repeated administrative failures. Modernize technology and training to meet the standards of a 21st century voting system. Enough tradition, enough excuses. New York City is behind the nation in election professionalism. That is unacceptable. The Campaign Finance Board has drifted into a punitive bureaucratic machine that harms the very candidates the public matching funds program was designed to empower. The problem is not the mission, it's the execution. We see compliance systems so technical and rigid that they overwhelm grassroots campaigns. Audits that take years, leaving candidates campaigns in limbo and harming candidates long after Election Day. Inconsistent enforcement and overly harsh penalties for minor unintentional errors, guidance that is contradictory, unclear, or retroactively applied, a process that benefits campaigns with attorneys and compliance staff while penalizing working class, first-time, and community-based candidates like myself. This is not fairness. This is keeping by bureaucracy. CFB reform demands statutory audit deadlines so no campaign waits years for closure. Clear, consistent written guidance, not evolving rules applied retroactively. Scaled penalties that distinguish between malicious intents and minor clerical errors. A simplified reporting system accessible to candidates without lawyers or consultants. A true support-first compliance model where the default is education, not punishment. A system meant to open the doors of democracy should not be tripping candidates as they walk through them. Democracy cannot function on broken foundations. These agencies decide who can run, who can vote, whether votes are counted accurately, whether the system is fair for everyday New Yorkers. Right now, they are failing in all four areas. If New Yorkers cannot trust the administration of elections and cannot navigate the process of participating in campaigns, we do not have a healthy democracy. We have a system that selectively works for insiders and burdens everyone else. Legislators, city council members, commissioners, cosmetic fixes will not solve structural problems. Pilot programs will not fix a century-old patronage system. And press releases will not restore public trust. We need a structural reform, legal reform, and cultural reform, not incrementalization. New Yorkers are resilient, but resilience should not be a requirement to participate in democracy. I urge this body to take bold, structural action that modernizes professionalism and humanizes our election system. Action that finally puts voters and candidates above bureaucracy and politics. The people of this city deserve election institutions they can trust, not institutions they endure. And just as an aside, as a candidate, I received 17% of the vote. And I did not have campaign finance funds because of the burdensome rules to get them. I did not have people to canvass for me other than some volunteers. Just imagine what I could have done.
Excuse me, Ms. Marreri, you're over your time now. If you could bring it to a close.
Well, thank you so much. And that's my statement. Just so you guys know, we really need to overhaul the system. Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughts.
Right. You know that this is the Campaign Finance Board we don't control, and we're appointed in a totally different way than the Board of Elections. And obviously, we'll do everything we can to streamline processes. But there are a number of first-time candidates who actually emerge with no penalties after an audit.
The next speaker on our I'm sorry, your time is up. The next speaker on our calendar, this is remote, also is Anna Humphrey. Is Miss Humphrey present?
Yes, I'm here.
Good. Whenever you're ready.
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Anna Humphrey, and I'm the Transportation and Voting Community Organizer for the Center for Independence of the Disabled, New York, Sydney. Sydney is a nonprofit organization that serves all 5 boroughs and advocates for people with disabilities to gain independence in their everyday lives. For every election that occurs in New York City, Sydney conducts poll site surveying and a post-vote survey for accessibility. So following the November election, Sydney surveyed 51 New York City voters with disabilities about their voting experiences. 73% of those people voted in person, yet only 3 voters used a ballot marking device. That alone tells us that there's a major disconnect between the tools that exist and voter awareness and access to them. We saw serious barriers in absentee and accessible voting. 13 respondents requested absentee ballots and 1 person reported never receiving theirs. Others did not understand the instructions. For voters who used the accessible ballot system, both respondents who requested one were unable to print their ballot, effectively blocking them from completing the process independently. Confusion was a constant theme. Many voters reported never receiving information about absentee voting, polling locations, or how to track their ballots. Some were forced to vote by affidavit because their ballots were never marked as received. At the poll sites themselves, our surveyors documented barriers across the boroughs, jammed or malfunctioning ballot marking devices, inaccessible entrances, tripping hazards, unclear signage, and heavy doors without poll worker assistance. Voters reported privacy violations, lack of seating, and poll workers who were unprepared to assist disabled voters appropriately. In several cases, voters were not even told that a ballot marking device was available. We urge the Campaign Finance Board to work with the Board of Elections to prioritize expanded public education on BMDs and absentee voting, mandatory disability-focused poll worker training, improved accessible ballot return options that do not rely on personal printers, and stronger enforcement of accessibility standards at every poll site. We'd be happy to meet with you and share our full results from these surveys and further discuss how the voting process can improve. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person on our calendar is for in-person is Karen Stachel. Does not appear that she is here. The next person listed both in person and online, I'm not sure which, is Mohammed Shafiqar Rahman. Apparently not. Okay. Next person scheduled to appear remotely is Rose Hellman. I'll give Ms. Hellman a moment to get online. Ms. Hellman, are you there?
I'm trying.
Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Okay. Very good. We can hear you.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Before you start my 2 minutes, I think I'm a little bit concerned as to what the Campaign Finance Board can do in regard to the Board of Elections. I was a writing candidate for the mayoral race 2025, and I entered the race late because I missed the deadline, because as the race progressed, I had seen that, honestly, I found the behavior of another mayoral candidate really unacceptable. There were a lot of statements made by other mayoral candidates that were not called out on and were unacceptable. And I was wondering if the Campaign Finance Board had any authority over that to call them in on those comments.
We do not, and we are a separate agency from the Board of Elections, and we have no power or authority over them whatsoever.
I hear. Okay, so what I will tell you is that because I entered the race late based on that behavior, without matching funds, one cannot be heard and no one takes your candidacy seriously. Therefore, in my humble opinion, the little guy can never get heard or ever get ahead, because without the money, he can't be seen and people don't take you seriously. So how are you supposed to be heard? You know, the media and the CFB picked people based on how much money they raised. this fact. And I had asked my advisor, who did a wonderful job advising me, Elena Rodriguez, she's a wonderful person, about why the board has a need for someone to spend $200,000 to be heard. How are you supposed to be heard as a mayoral candidate if you don't get that kind of money when you're not in matching funds and nobody takes you seriously? So what I'm asking the board to do is reconsider that, because it held me back from getting into the debate. And I'm sure various other candidates, like Joseph Hernandez, who would have given New York a better choice for whom to be voted for, in my humble opinion, as opposed to this other person whose name I will not mention, that was making outrageous, terrible comments about certain people and about our public officials, and incidentally, as a hint, won the race. And the little guy can't possibly be heard. It's unfair. It's unfair. They should be able, my proposal would be that they should be able at least to enter the race and be heard, even if they come in later. I know, this 200,000, it's just a waste of the taxpayers' money. It's just a waste of the taxpayers' money. And people should be able to have their voice heard, even if they come in late. Just saying.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for letting me be heard. Thank you.
The next scheduled speaker in person is Ernest M. Searle III. Is he here? Does not appear so. Next, Von S. Del Valle. No. Okay. Switching back to remote speakers, the next person listed is Sai Yang. No. And next, also remotely, Kathleen Collins. Okay, we'll wait for Ms. Collins to log on.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
That's okay. It takes a minute.
Sure. I'll start. My name is Kathleen Collins. I'm a native New Yorker who has been voting for approximately 50 years in New York City. I'm a quadruple amputee from birth who uses a wheelchair and prostheses at times, and I am on the board of Disabled in Action. I'm happy to report that yesterday, 12 organizations representing voters with disabilities, including Sydney, that Anna Humphrey just spoke on, submitted written comments to this board. Today, I would just like to highlight 3 matters discussed in those comments. One, as Michael Ring and also Anna Humphrey pointed out, we need greater education of the public as to what is a ballot marking device, how they work, and the fact that everyone can use them, and not just a voter with a disability. 2, we need to allow candidates with disabilities, such as Mr. Jenkins here today, to use the campaign matching funds that they receive to make them able to be in the same position as other candidates when running for office, similar to what we presently allow for candidates with childcare expenses. Finally, we need candidates receiving matching funds from the city to be educated on their responsibility to make their events and materials accessible to voters with disabilities. And we recommend that the Campaign Finance Board require, as part of their receiving campaign matching funds, that candidates learn about ballot marking devices and are urged to use ballot marking devices when they vote. Thank you for listening to me today. And we would be happy to work with the Campaign Finance Board. I know we work with Luke Messina. He's great. And all our organizations really appreciate your work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person listed for in-person testimony is Liliana Traficante. Ms. Traficante here. Not. Next, Jeanette Rodriguez. Nope. Okay, switching back to the remote speakers, the next listed person is Radhakrishna Mohan. Give a moment to see whether Anybody appears. Okay. We're gonna wait for Mr. Mohan to get on.
Sorry, my mic was muted. Good morning, and I would like to thank the Campaign Finance Board for giving me this opportunity to provide feedback on the campaign experience and to provide any suggestions. I also would like to thank the campaign liaisons that I worked with during my 2 campaigns for Borough President and the New York City Council are exceptional, and particularly Mr. Logan Gonzalez and Ms. Elena Rodriguez. They provided timely information and guidelines to the candidates to make them to navigate their their respective campaigns. I also just wanted to bring up something related to the matching funds. I believe there is a difference between the New York State matching funds and the New York City Council matching funds. I believe the New York State has slightly more advantages than the New York City Council matching funds. I suggest that a comparative study can be made and see that how the New York City candidates can get the better, same or the same type of benefits like the New York State candidates who run for the elections. And I also have one quick, my last time I had my treasurer when I ran for borough president, my treasurer was there with me for a month after the elections. And after that, I had to deal with it myself. The audit went for a couple of years. And is there any way that the Campaign Finance Board can address that? What would be the best for the candidates to see that their financial obligation can be met with any further assistance from the treasurers? That could be given some kind of consideration, because after the election, the candidates have to I'm not sure whether we can keep the treasurer for the longest time, but it's something that the candidates go through after the elections are over. Thank you for this opportunity again, and appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. The next scheduled speaker remotely is Carl Tobin. Not here. No, apparently not. Okay, back. Oh, no, this is also remote. The next scheduled speaker is Wayne Bailey. No, apparently not. Okay, back to in person. Yesenia Rivera. Miss Rivera here. Okay, next, Eric W. Armstead. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Armstead, and come on up to the podium.
How you doing? I'm Eric Armstead. I ran.
You have to speak up.
Hi, how you doing? I ran.
Even more.
How you doing? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I ran for mayor since 2017. I ran in the 25 race for mayor, New York City. I don't want to take up too much time. I just want to see if we can get more finance for far as us trying to move forward in the race, because with the campaign finance board, you have to reach a certain amount of money and stuff like that, etc. It's for, just like they were saying on TV, speaking about, to engrave in the race. I mean, I'm just trying to see if we can get like grants or finance or finance to help us to improve more for us to prove more for us to move up more as far as running for mayor in New York City. So I don't want to take up too much time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next listed speaker is Hector Robertson. Okay. Next, Anup Mandal. Next, they only have a last name, Machon.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to wait for,
Remote, it'll be remote.
yeah, we'll wait for Mr. Machon to log on.
Hello, I don't know if you guys can see me.
We hear you clearly. We cannot see you, but proceed.
Okay, here I am. I'm gonna put the phone down.
Okay, we see you now, sort of.
Okay. All right. May I start now?
Yes.
I only got 2 minutes and I have like a thesis for you, but I shaved it down. Okay, hello, my name is Michonne Baines, independent candidate for mayor and public advocate. I've been campaigning for 30 years for city, state, and federal elections. Advocacy has been my life around housing, homelessness, child protective services, family advisory, and I got to remember I got 2 minutes. Running as unhoused. That's important to me. Individuals, okay? My platform has been around restitution, repair, for American descendants of slaves, and I am a freedman. Okay. Now, what I want to say also, Bloomberg donated 48 million to the campaign, and who can compete with that? Also, your advertisement inspired me to run for office. Also, although people have been asking me for at least 15 years I should run for office. It sounded welcoming, but guess what? It has been a dream deferred to me. I didn't receive an invite. Okay. One of the other candidates forwarded me the invite. And, they contact me to let me know why my name wasn't even on the list. Okay. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. This grievance is because I believe I was treated in a manner that was unfair, dismissive, and inconsistent with the standards that this board is expected to uphold. This wasn't a matter of miscommunication. It was a pattern of treatment that undermines my trust. In the fairness and accessibility of this system, when individuals come to the Campaign Finance Board, they deserve professionalism, transparency, and respect. What I experienced instead created unnecessary obstacles and frustrations, which left me feeling the process is not being administered equitably. And the reason why I say that is removing my information out of the system, which disappeared, which I applied for, denied training classes, which I email requests, no certification for the E-class that I completed. So I felt that I was sabotaged from the beginning. And I would like to know, how can I be compensated for the ill treatment? And somebody need to contact me, and I am requesting an apology. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next scheduled speaker is Joe Alney.
Everybody, my name is Joe Alney. I run for mayor in 2025. My testimony similar questions like any other candidates, especially new, because this system is helps and benefits for the people who are famous and not new, like already have an office before, or is popularity, or is famous or already in office. But new people doesn't mean they can't solve the problems. They can't see the problems in root or New York City. No, like based on my understanding, my supporters always come from Eric Adams, Andrew Cuomo's, and Mandanis. but I don't have enough fund to spread my idea, let everybody to know my idea. That's a big problem. So let's make it short because time is limited. My plan is like this. We need to have a pre-screening evaluation team consist of 50 people, voters, like a court in trial, connect 50 people, build up this group, evaluation group, and then let people, candidates who are interested in running for, I only focus on mayor because I don't have time to focus on other issues. Like people who are interested in for mayors, pay for 1,000 for evaluation fee, got in this evaluation team to talk with face-to-face, like a group screening like this. And in 1 month evaluation, or less than 1 month or 3 weeks or 2 weeks, select 15 candidates to become candidates in primary. Then evaluate 5 people who are qualified, like pre-election, qualified, select 5 people. Then rest of 10 cast a death to select another 5. So let's have every kind of, have every kind of opportunities for all the peoples. You just pay 1,000, you got your voice heard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker listed is Fatima Zohra Nuinu. Sorry about the mispronunciation.
No problem. Good morning, Chair and members of the board. My name is Fatima Zohra Nuinu, and I have been a candidate for mayor of New York City. I have submitted my written statements. New York City is like an airport without air traffic control. Any outsider can come, conspire with an insider, commit crime, execute fraud, and run away without accountability, causing us pain, suffering, hardship, and loss. Our city is plagued with corruption, political persecution, prostitution, human trafficking, human experiments, child rape, child labor, crimes against humanity. We have been betrayed by our city's Board of Elections, which allowed fraudulent candidates to take office by placing them on ballots after accepting thousands of fake signatures that are illegal and illegitimate. Those fraudulent candidates have received matching funds. When Mayor Adams was elected, I was a U.S. permanent resident working as a Spanish interpreter poll worker. I witnessed election fraud as scanning machines suspiciously collapsed at the last hour, and the ballots were collected by individuals who did not look like election officials. But I had no say and no power to act. When Mamdani was elected, I had become a U.S. citizen and was a candidate myself running for mayor. I witnessed signature fraud as I reviewed petitions filed by Adams, Sliwa, and Cuomo. And I have yet to review Mamdani's. Most signatures I have seen on multiple petitions are written by the same persons, and many petitions are stained with coffee or tea or torn or destroyed. The volumes look like if they were prepared during the First or Second World War. Disorganized, messy, and untidy. But I have say and power now because I am both a U.S. citizen and a politician. As a former international civil servant, I urge and demand a state and federal investigation into both Adams and Mamdani's elections and call for a special election to be held in 2025. Debates should be organized for writing candidates who did not receive matching funds like myself, as we have collected over 1,000 legitimate signatures. We have done our homework and have much to say to voters. Now, I will self-interpret my last words. We need to rescue our city from the corruption that impedes civilization. Necesitamos rescatar nuestra ciudad de la corrupción que impide la civilización. خاصنا نخدم مدينة ديالنا متحرود لكي يعرقل الحضارة. Precisamos resgatar nossa cidade da corrupção que impede a civilização. Medeniyeti engelleyen yolsuzluktan şehrimizi kurtarmamız gerekiyor. Wir müssen unsere Stadt vor der Korruption retten, die die Zivilisation behindert. I will leave other languages for next time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker listed is Jeffrey Kazembe Batts.
A great day. Excuse my voice, it's kind of weird. But great day to everybody. My name is Jeffrey Kazembe Batts. I'm from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy. I ran for the 36th Council District. Focusing on the New York City Campaign Finance Board, I have no complaints. I would not have ran if it wasn't for the 8-to-1 matching funds. I've been active all my life, but have never ran for office. But I've been around a lot of elected officials. Last year I had surgery in my mouth. I turned 60 earlier this year, and I decided that I wanted to run. I collected 1,200 signatures, 1,190 myself. This is not the Board of Elections where I went earlier by mistake, 32 Broadway. But they threw me off the ballot because I had my cover sheet, which I found it wrong. And I was kind of hurt by that, but I didn't have the resources to fight. And also my team wasn't quite as strong as I thought it should be. So when they have like a courtroom at 32 Broadway, and when they said that I hadn't signed something and they threw me off the ballot, I was resigned for that outcome. I got an email saying that I can come, and I see today as a period on the sentence of my campaign this year. So I just came this year again. I would not even have considered running if it wasn't for the matching fund. And so that's very, very good. And Sam, what's her name? I just want to shout out my campaign liaison because she was very, very helpful and good. Her name is Sam Candinasso. She was very, very good. I have no complaints. I do have a slight complaint with the Board of Elections, but I think that the Campaign Finance Board, the trainings, and whenever I had an issue since I never ran before, and I reached out to Sam, she got right back to me. And so I think that what y'all are doing is good, and I have no complaints. And I learned a lot, and I'm happy to be able to come and share with you today. And if they hadn't thrown me off the ballot, I would have beat COC with the councilman in my district.
Thank you very much. Our next listed speaker is Jared Hatch. Okay. Next is Jamil Henderson, sorry.
Those who are experiencing disabilities, my name is Jamil Henderson. I am a 40-year-old African-American male wearing a black turtleneck with the African pendant, and I'm wearing a black goatee. To the members of the board, good morning to you. My name is Jamil Henderson, and I am here not only on behalf of myself, but I'm on here on behalf of those who were in foster care, those who have a passion to dream to run for public office like I did as a child. I'm a 4-time graduate of the City University of New York. I live in Kingsborough Houses, and I ran for office twice there, in 2017 at 31 years old, and this year at the age of 39. There are plenty of young people behind me that desire to run for office in my community. And the unfortunate reality is they are intimidated, just like many of us, because of the strict challenges that are faced. One of those challenges that we face is getting towards the matching funds. 75 residents may sound easy, but in communities like the 41st District, have you seen over the years, it is very hard to get through that mold because of the discredibility of individuals that have been in office prior to me and the overall corruption of the lack of confidence that has taken place. In districts, one of my first recommendations in districts that have low voter primary turnout for candidates that are seeking to run for office, that requirement needs to be lowered from 75 to 50. The reason why I'm saying that, because as someone who has knocked on doors, there have been a lot of people that have said no to me, someone who has over the qualifications, and they still will not participate. There is a lack of connection between the city and communities that, like mine in the 41st District. Secondly, there needs to be off-season trainings for those in communities across New York City that are interested in running for office. You cannot put an intense amount of pressure on a candidate during that campaign year, expecting them to know all of the rules, all of the guidelines, on top of knowing everything else, and trusting that they may or may not have a good consulting team. Because unfortunately, I made it to the finish line, but I had a terrible consulting team. And therefore, there were rules that I didn't even know I violated because it's pressure on me. And when it's all said and done, our lives go back to normal. We're the ones that have to live. Third point, create mailings.
I guess your last point because your time's up.
No problem. Create mailings and emails where residents are understanding in great detail how matching funds work and where it's generally supposed to go based on the years of database. There are a lot of people that still don't know where this money's going, and they will not trust candidates because over the years of corruption, if you put it out in mailers during this off season between 2025 and 2029, just occasionally letting people know, by the time the next cycle comes, people will be more aware that people are knocking on their door and asking for funds. And I want to close with this because there are future young people that want to do this. You have to make it easier for us because at the end of the day, this is our lives. There are so many people that have other opportunities, but there are young people like myself who are passionate to be in service, and we should not have to be intimidated by all of these different things. Please make it a little easier for the young people in the future generations of our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next listed speaker is Nikki Karimian. No? Okay. Next, Reginald Swiney. And finally, Thao Mari. Okay, and we have someone who's joined remotely who I called earlier, Marty Dolan.
Yes.
So I'll turn to you, Mr. Dolan. Go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. I was a candidate for public advocate in this last cycle. I ran in the Democratic primary, and I also ran as an independent under the ballot line, the Unity Party. I think the Campaign Finance Board does a great job. I think it's helpful to have a trained accountant who can help you do it. My one suggestion is that I think candidates who receive matching funds should be obliged to debate any balloted candidate. So in the public advocate race, Jumaane Williams not only declined to debate, even though there were two balloted candidates. There was a Republican candidate and there was me. He hosted a fundraiser instead at a comedy club. And Mark Levine also refused to debate in the controller race, where again, there was a balloted Republican candidate and a balloted independent line candidate. So I think it's good for the political process. I think it's good for the Democratic Party or Republican Party to simplify the rules around debating, which is to say that if you take $1 of matching funds, you should be obliged to debate any balloted candidate. Now, I understand you don't want to end up with frivolous candidates at the debates, but it's a pretty high standard to get on the ballot in November. You've spent a lot of money to do it. So that's it. Otherwise, I think you guys did a great job, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you again in my quest to succeed our causes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your appearance. There were a number of people who didn't show up, but I'm going to do a last call. If anybody who signed up and for some reason wasn't here when I called your name, whether you're in person or remote, make yourself known to us and you'll have one last opportunity. Going once, going twice. I think that's it. Well, again, I want to thank all of you who did appear and testified. We've listened, and I'll ask our my fellow board member, Dawn Smalls, to make some closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair Schaefer. If there is no further testimony, we will conclude today's hearing. I want to thank everyone who gave testimony, both here in person and remotely. I know along with my fellow board members, were definitely taking notes. All of this is very important information for us to hear directly from you candidates, the voters, the treasurers, the volunteers, to give us feedback about how the program works in practice. And so we appreciate this opportunity to get that feedback directly from you. I want to thank my fellow board members and VAC members for being here today to receive this testimony, and just remind everyone that if you did not register to give testimony today, we still would like to hear from you. You're encouraged to submit written testimony to the CFB through official testimony form. Thank you all for being here and hope you have a great day.